interesting to see how that changes. As we change and get set now for the mixed team gold medal match, should be a great one between Colombia and Mexico. And Mexico out first out of the tunnel, out onto the field of play. So a nice round of applause from the fans here at the Eastern Center, just outside of downtown Salt Lake City, Utah. Mexico defeating Spain in the quarterfinals, 149-147, and then winning a shoot-off with Italy. They had a better 19.
Yeah, so in the shoot-off, if the score's the same, it's the closest arrow to the center that will then be judged as the winning team.
And Linda Ochoa-Anderson, as well as her partner Rodolfo Gonzalez, had that arrow that was closer to the center. They'll have to be close to the center today to compete with this team from Colombia, the Colombian squad, defeating the United States in the quarterfinals by 5, and then knocking off Korea in the semis by 2, 154-152. Sara Lopez teaming up today with Daniel Munoz. Two very, very talented archers. Obviously, Sara Lopez, who saw her remarkable winning streak end in Antalya, was 31 consecutive matches in international match play she'd won, and 5 World Cup finals.
I know, and I don't think that's a streak that's going to be beaten soon.
It's remarkable.
Unless she does it herself. That is.
Although, maybe, well, we'll have to see. Of course, Sara will be competing in the match right after this, which is the women's bronze medal match, the individual bronze medal match. So she's got a chance to go back-to-back and get medals, 2 medals to take back home to Colombia.
Yeah, and this is a very experienced Colombian team. They've won a lot of medals together.
So a great look at Sara Lopez, #1 in the world still. Took bronze in Antalya. Won the the gold medal to start the season in Shanghai. And now she'll start the party off with the first shot of the mixed team gold medal match in Salt Lake City. Looks like Sara Lopez to me.
She's dialed in straight away. This could be tough for the Mexican team.
Muy fuerte, muy estable y fluido.
Daniel Munoz.
Muy fuerte. Muy bien aquí.
He seems pretty dialed in too.
Yeah. They came ready.
They did indeed.
Now let's see what Linda Ochoa-Anderson has in store. Of course, Linda, the wife of Steve Anderson, who joined us this morning for the team medal matches, our broadcast. And Linda, I believe, has caught the line.
That's close. I'm not sure. I think the shadow might be. They've started. The judge is going to have to have a look at that one. Well, that's definitely a 10.
Yeah, my eyes did not betray me that time.
That's a great start by everyone.
Muy fuerte y buen contacto.
So we're in for a good one here. That's obvious.
Muy bien.
She's got a grip on the situation, no doubt about that.
She has. She's used to being out there on the stage. She enjoys herself out there.
You watch her and you can just tell she really enjoys the competition. She thrives on it. It's very apparent. It's obvious. The way she carries herself.
So es muy bien. Muy bien, muy bien.
So a little bit of a slip right there. Not much. It's going to take 2 10s from Mexico to tie the score going into the second half, which this team is fully capable of doing. Linda, who now makes her home right here in the Salt Lake City area, along with husband Steve, nailed it. Now trying to help coach her much younger teammate. He's 10 years younger. Rodolfo. Oh, Rodolfo. Jackpot.
It is, and she's probably just telling him which way the wind's blowing, just so that he knows, because obviously he won't see while he's at full draw and aiming.
You are so focused in on what you're aiming at.
Exactly, and we've got a windsock probably about 10 meters in front of the target. Gives them a good indicator of which direction the wind's blowing at the moment.
Is that the greater indicator for you, Andrea, than, say, even the flags on top of the targets?
Yeah, the flags don't...
Because by then you're already at the target face.
You are, and also with the material that the flags are made of, it doesn't necessarily give you an indication as to how strong the wind is. It might give you the direction, but I've always found the actual windsock a much better indicator.
So pay no attention to those flags on top of target 1 and target number 2. Pay attention to Andrea Gales, coach from the United Kingdom, who came all the way over here to be with us today. And we appreciate that. Plus she enjoyed the food trucks out there for lunch as well.
Yeah, they were good.
Yeah. Tell you what, the Easton Foundation has done a marvelous job of staging this event this week.
They have. The volunteers have been absolutely amazing. The whole tournament's run like clockwork, and it's great credit to Mr. Easton and his crew. And you got another 2 years at the venue after this one.
Yeah, it's nice to be back. It's good to have an event back, not just in Salt Lake City, but back in the United States.
I've always enjoyed the World Cups in the United States. It's always been fun.
And of course, the World Championships will be in Mexico come October. So Sara shows that she is indeed a mortal, a human being after all. Nobody's perfect.
She's close.
She's close. Makes me feel a little bit better, personally.
Me too.
Daniel, direct hit. But an opportunity right now for Mexico. Wonder what's going through Steve Anderson's mind right now, let alone Linda's.
I think you're actually more nervous watching somebody. I know that this week is the first, well, my second time stood in the coach's box and stood behind our recurve archers, and it's actually more nerve-wracking than shooting because you can't do anything.
Take the bow out of your hands and you're a wreck, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I got to imagine Big Steve's kind of on the edge of his seat right now.
Yeah, I'm proud as well that his wife's out there shooting for gold.
Actually, they had changed the score. I didn't catch that. Mexico had 40 points in that first end. So they actually had a 1-point lead after the first end, and they lead by 1 now.
Yeah, Linda's was close, and I think we were having trouble viewing the Colombian arrow that was close, but I think the shadow meant that we thought it was in, but it wasn't. But that's a total of 39 for that end for Colombia, taking their total to 78.
So Mexico can afford to be just maybe a little bit off. They'd prefer not to be, but 2 10s, they keep their lead, a 10 and a 9, and we're tied up. So there's the 9. And it will be all right for Mexico if, and it's a big if, Rodolfo Gonzalez will be also competing later this afternoon in a bronze medal match. Can come through with a 10, and boy, it's close. Doesn't
that might be out.
Yeah. So a pair of 9s. They needed a 9 and a 10 at least to stay tied, and instead. Now they do have an asterisk.
They do.
On that final shot by Gonzalez, but I'm going to go with Andrea Gales.
Let's see if my spotting from London 2012 is working.
Well, you have younger eyes than I do, so I'm going to go with Andrea Gales on this one, and we'll wait and see. Of course, Mexico hoping they change that 9 to a 10. And all of a sudden, it went dark in Salt Lake City.
Ok, vamos, vamos, vamos. Sale.
Muy fuerte.
All is well.
Abrimos, Linda.
All is well.
Estoy siguiendo ritmo.
Some fantastic slow-mo shots here of the archers shooting, just seeing how much the bows move and all the component parts.
When it's this hot, Andrea, do you start to have issues as far as the grip is concerned?
Most archers will put some form of grip tape or racket tape on their grips just to make sure that they don't slip
Así
or
empezamos,
chalk.
con ese mismo viento, Linda.
Something to compensate for that, so that
Obviously,
Pues,
Linda lives
empuje
here,
izquierda y déjalo ahí.
sometimes trains here,
Dale seguimiento
and
nada más.
I'm sure she's
also grew up shooting in Mexico.
yeah.
Arriba a la izquierda. Va. Salecito.
So after a strong start, Mexico had those 4 10s in the first end. Since then, they've had only 1 on their last 5 shots.
Termina. Bien.
There they go. They got back in the tiebreak.
Dale. Bien, vamos, 10.
And that gives Rodolfo a little fist bump
Muy fuerte, buen contacto.
as Sara Lopez goes back to
Ritmo.
work. Back to business.
Muy rápido.
But outside that 10 rate.
Just wondering if the archers are pushing a little bit against the breeze, because the breeze is blowing left to right, but a lot of the arrows are popping out the left-hand side of the 10.
Vamos,
So
Daniel. Muy fuerte.
So what are they thinking?
El ritmo muy fuerte.
I mean, I don't know whether it is being affected by the building, and that when they leave, they're just not getting the drift that they think they are.
Right.
Dale,
Because I think on the practice field, they're obviously stood in the open and they're shooting out
Mejorando
into
tu
the
ritmo,
open,
Linda.
whereas here they're protected, but the arrow is not for the last 15 meters.
So in other words, when they're at that shooting
Fuerte.
line, everything isn't what it might seem to be.
Yeah.
Well done.
Bien, eso sí
Linda
está bonito,
Ochoa-Anderson
Muy bonito, sí.
launching a 10.
Vamos, Fito, vamos, Fito.
Pressure could really go on here for Mexico if they can manage to shoot another 10.
Fuerte. Centro fuerte.
Instead of a 10,
Vamos, Sara.
Dale, vamos, 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 Sara.
it's an 8.
And we've seen those angles of arrows all week where the wind's blown and the arrows haven't gone in straight.
Eso es X.
Going for the kill right now. Sara Lopez on the hunt.
Yeah, and if I'm Sarah, just give my sight a couple of clicks. Everything's over to the left a little.
Vamos,
She
Daniel.
knows what she's doing.
Muy fuerte. Fluido.
Daniel Munoz, 28 years old,
Pues.
and another 10. So an excellent end by Colombia. It started with a 9, but then 3 straight 10s. And that lead that stood at 1 midway through the match now has grown to 3.
Hagan el trabajo que
117, 114 in favor of Colombia.
con muchas decisiones.
Colombia, of course, 4th in the world rankings in mixed team and 3rd after the ranking rounds. Mexico, they came to Salt Lake City ranked 17th in the world, but came out of the ranking rounds number 4.
Dale, eh.
They had had a good week.
Very good week. There was some,
Visto yo.
I mean, the qualification afternoon for the compounds was a tricky one, and I think there were a few surprises during
Sale, sale.
the ranking
Igual,
round,
vamos. Abrimos, Linda.
and also during the mixed team matches. It was really tricky, and I think we saw some teams go through.
Well, and who's to say we may not see some tricks here in this 4th end.
I would say it's Colombia's to lose right now with a 3-point lead.
They don't have to be perfect, but
Vamos, eh.
Mexico do.
Vamos.
Mexico has to be perfect. And there can be no letdown by either of these teams, but Mexico really has to pick it up right here.
Dale ritmo, Linda. Fuerte.
They're capable. They had those
Fuertes
4
izquierda.
10s to start the match off. In fact, they started off with 5 straight 10s.
Yes, bien,
Got it.
bien, bien, Linda, bien. Vamos, Fito, vamos, Fito.
Stabs that 10 ring. And now
Ahí
Rodolfo,
estás bien. Fuerte. Termina tu
only 20
disparo.
years old, ranked 27 in the world.
Yeah.
He got it too.
Poquito, un poquito abajo.
Vamos, Sara.
Another skin of his teeth.
Un poquito, estás del
Did.
centro hacia abajo, todos por disparo.
Vamos,
Sí,
muy
ya se
fuerte,
And he's had a
estable, buen
fantastic week.
contacto y buen ritmo.
Really has.
Eso es.
We'll see some more of him this afternoon. We'll see some more of Sara Lopez as well.
Sigue ahí. ¿Cómo te sientas cómoda?
Sí, 9 a las 6.
Vamos,
Sara
Daniel.
says, I'm serious, man.
10.
Muy fuerte, muy estable y fluido.
Daniel Munoz.
Fluido, muy bien, eso es.
What
Eso
a
es.
shot.
Kelly, sale.
And I think he's only missed 110 this
Vamos a
match.
lo nuestro, vamos a lo nuestro, sale.
Right down the middle. Daniel Munoz. You're absolutely right. It was his second shot where he shot a 9. The
Fuerte,
final shot of the
izquierda,
first
empújalo.
end. Since then, he's been clean.
Fin. Yes, muy bien.
Trying to keep hope alive.
Vamos, Tito. Dale ritmo. Olvídate del tiempo.
Rodolfo.
Dale ritmo. Fuerte. Termina su disparo.
Taking his time, and it does not pay dividends.
Vamos, Sara.
That probably sealed the deal.
Termina.
Although good learning experience for him that he can take into his next match, the bronze medal match coming up.
Sure, I mean, there'll be a few nerves out there for him, so
Vamos, vamos. Arriba.
Eso es, muy bien, muy bien.
No nerves for Sara Lopez.
Vamos, Daniel.
none at all.
None. She's in her element.
Rodolfo would have learnt a lot from being with Linda.
Disparo.
Linda's an experienced archer with,
Fluido.
you know, that's made model matches and won medals. So
Muy bien. Eso es.
Brilliant display of shooting by these two archers who win by 5 points, 157 to 152. If they missed, they didn't miss much.
definitely not.
A lot of respect between these archers, these two teams, these two nations.
And friends, you know,
Sure.
you make many friendships when you stood on the shooting line.
Yes, 1 minute you just want to beat the living you know what. The next minute,
Exactly, when
hugs and kisses.
when you stood on the shooting line, you definitely want to win. But when you're off that shooting line, there's a lot of friendships that are forged through this sport.
Still, they'll take that bronze medal. Thank you. Congratulations to Sara Lopez and Daniel Munoz. They are the gold medalists in mixed team competition. Mexico will get the silver medal. No shame in that. That's the thing I have to keep reminding folks about, is that just to get to a medal match is an accomplishment in and of itself.
Oh, yeah, with the level of archery in the world now,